What's up, everybody? Everyone's favorite mommy, Hotori, has just dropped in Neverness to Everness, and she is an absolute powerhouse and a must-pull in my opinion. Not only is she easy on the eyes, but she can deal devastating damage with her unique time stop ability, as well as has some practical applications outside of combat. In this video, we're going to talk about her optimal team, her rotation, and most importantly, how to master her unique gameplay quickly. My name is trueeevil, and welcome to my ultimate Hotori guide. To learn how to play Hotori's kit, I highly recommend to start with a stationary boss like Cardboard Castle or Serenity, and then when you're comfortable with her rotation, go to bosses that have more mobility. How she works is that you start off with using her skill, which is a little bit different than most skills because it works through a timer and not by charging it. So you can see how much time she has before she can use her skill and ultimate by her icon off field. When you use her skill, we now have a time frame to record skills through our other characters. We can record support skills and main skills. Each character can record a single skill, so what you want to do is after you use Hotori's skill is go through your rotation and use a skill with all your other characters. I really like Zero for this because of her instant cycle on the main skill, which pretty much guarantees you all 3 copies that Hotori can store as long as that skill is not on cooldown, so be sure to be mindful of that. The final copy that you want to do should be your main DPS like Nonali or Mint, because we will have some time before her ultimate to get in some nice basic attack combos. Once you see that the ultimate is ready, switch in and pop it up. You are going to preferably want to do this as a support skill switch in from an anima character to apply Blossom. This is because Blossom works during time stop, which is absolutely broken. You can now unleash 2 basic attack chains, with the final one being a cute umbrella burst, and then we switch her out and wait for her skill timer to get back up. The biggest difficulty when using her is the copy skills stay in place, so against bosses with high mobility, you need to know when they are going to be sitting still for like 10 seconds to get maximum advantage of that ultimate. This takes practice, but the increase in DPS is well worth it in the end. Now that we know how Hotori's rotation works, let's talk about how to build her, as well as what her optimal team is on her release and why. So first off, the main unique part of Hotori's kit is it works off of a timer and not through charging the skills up. And because of that, we do not want cycle intensity or charge efficiency as stats. So for her console, the main stats that you're going to want to look for are going to be crit rate as the priority, and the reason you want to prioritize crit rate as the main stat on the console is because she gets additional damage just through equipping modules, so she needs the crit rate more so than like an anima character would. So crit rate is the priority, and then I would say secondary is going to be Cosmos damage bonus, and then crit damage. That's how I would go about it. And then for substats, all you want to do is make sure you get one of those 3, and then some additional attack percents or universal damage increase. Just avoid having cycle intensity and charge efficiency because they just don't really do anything for her. And that makes it so her arc choices are pretty limited as well. Because if we go to a lot of her arcs that aren't her signature, because of how the main character works, who really does want charge efficiency and cycle intensity, all of these 2 arcs, like her secret arc with Day Off, it's not going to be as great because of the charge efficiency and the ultimate energy, as well as Zero's actual signature. It has this thing with cycle intensity. I would say that this is okay for her because it does give the crit rate and a little bit of this DPS increase. So this is an okay choice. This is what I would say is her 3rd best arc, but I would say Hanyul's and Juyon's just don't do anything. The main reason why her arc is so good, and it's honestly the best one in the entire game, in my personal opinion, is because of this 70 seconds of defense ignore. I think this really future proofs her arc and makes it so it's really hard to say how much of a DPS increase this is, because I feel like this is just like a future proofing sort of stat on a weapon. It makes it so much more valuable than, say, like Nonali's signature arc, where it's only a couple of percents more of a damage increase than the Battle Pass arc. But don't worry if you don't have enough to pull for a Hatori's signature arc. The Battle Pass arc is going to work just fine on her. But, you know, I would, if you're going to pick any of the arcs for the next couple of characters, honestly, it's going to be Hatori's for me. And then for her Esper abilities, what you're going to want to prioritize is her ultimate, since her skills, just everything works around her ultimate. And then after the ultimate, the second most important is actually going to be her basic attack. And the reason being is once she ultimates, you get to have 2 rotations of her basic attack. So to maximize her DPS, you're going to want to prioritize the basic attack after that. Then after that, then I would say support skill and then skill. And of course, always get these unique abilities, especially the first one, because the first one prevents the blossoms from being paused during time stop. So if you switch in her before her ultimate from an anima character to apply blossom, that's just going to make it so you're dealing even more damage during her ultimate. Now, one thing I am going to point out is her life skill, which is really nice. I highly recommend getting this to level 1. And the reason for that is right now, since we're at the beginning of the game in 1.0, I would say the priority for characters to get to level 5 are going to be characters that are going to get you more fawns in the idol cafe. So that's the priority. But the reason why this is actually really strong is sometimes in the auction house, let me go to the map real quick, you're going to notice that sometimes in the auction house itself, personally this week I don't have anything good, but sometimes you can get things like some of these really hard to get materials from the auction house. So being able to get extra one of these later on is going to be really important because, well, it's going to be a time limited resource and can skip weeks of needing to farm up resources. So it's definitely a really nice signature life skill currently, definitely worth picking up. It just like isn't a priority right now, and it works a little bit of RNG. So for some people it's going to be like the best life skill in the game right now, and for some people it's going to be pretty mediocre. It's just RNG based, but when it works, it's going to work amazingly. For Hatori's best team on launch, you're going to want to use a Hyper Blossom team using Juyuan, the main character, and then either Nonali or Mint. And the reason being is that because Hatori's skills work on a timer, you don't want charge reaction because it doesn't really help her out at all, as well as characters like Hathor have a charge skill, and when you're doing the rotation to copy those skills, it doesn't copy the final charge of it. It's just like if you tap Hathor's skill, which is just not optimal in my opinion, and it's just better to full on go for as strong of a Blossom as you can, because Blossom works during the time stop. So you want to make sure all your support characters have a Blossom enhancement, as well as the main character just really makes it so you can get all 3 copies out because of her instant cycle rotation. It's just absolutely great. And you're just going to just be piling on the Blossom. It's really effective. You're basically just getting extra time in using the best double reaction in the game. So this is what I would say is her best team. And because you don't have a character like Hanyul or Sakiri on the team, you're going to want to make sure that the main character has Speedy Hedgehog for the attack bonus from that console. I'm really saying that on pretty much every team guide I've been building, I just really highly recommend that Zero has Speedy Hedgehog because it really does come in clutch and is really noticeable. Not only that, but it allows her to get more of a damage increase than Lost Radiance because she gets more Cosmos damage based on the type 3 modules she has equipped, which means you're able to just get more damage on your Zero from using a support console rather than a damage console. So I'm really piling on that. I hope this video was helpful in learning on how to use Hotori, and be sure to press that subscribe button because I will be posting more Hotori content this week to really showcase her against all of the different bosses, in-game modes like Beyond the Rails, and just how broken she can be in Pink Pause Heist. So catch you guys later with another NTE video, and also just wanted to mention that I am now, as of yesterday, an official NTE creator, which I didn't think I was going to apply for when I first started covering this game, but this game has just been an absolute blast to cover, which I can't say about any other game that I've covered this year because I usually stop covering them after a couple weeks because they're not fun in my personal opinion. This game has defied my expectations and is why I'm totally okay being a creator because I feel like I'm going to be playing this game for a long time. So see you guys next time.